Patricia. I welcome you to and we are very excited to have you part of the youth transformation on our planet Earth. We couldn't see anyone more fit in to be a part of this process.
Thank you. I'm very honored.
How did it feel when you realized that you were different?
Actually, when I was a child, I wasn't aware that I was different.
Okay.
Aside from being different from the point of view that I've always been extremely outspoken about things that you're not supposed to talk about.
Okay.
And I am today. I don't feel different. I feel part of a wonderful time where so many people are awakening to who they are, to their sovereign being, and the importance of knowing that, and yet being one with all sentient beings.
Absolutely. What is really happening on our planet now?
Well, unquestionably, we really are looking at an acceleration, an extraordinary acceleration of the forces that would want to keep humanity in slavery.
Right.
And I think we all know what we're talking about there.
Yeah.
I don't even like to voice the term the dark side.
Right.
But I don't want to give it power. But there's no question that on this planet, the force that would have the entire human race in shackles is very busy. Very, very busy.
Yeah.
And accelerating the madness into to a point that we really do need to reach critical mass on the light side very soon. The urgency is there, and yet I smile because I see so many very powerful souls on this planet, and spirit warriors all around me, people who have got it and are up and ready and standing for the light and for love and for beauty. And our numbers are increasing also just incredibly. There's so much available now, and so many people who are working for spirit, and I just, in spite of it all, in spite of how really intense it is and how bleak it looks sometimes,
Yeah.
no question that
Yeah.
the light will prevail.
What do you think about the ego, Patricia?
As long as your ego is your shadow in front of you, you can't make very much progress. So I'm seeing a lot of people that are in conviction of some idea and ready to fight or kill for that idea. And that is ego separation. I'm right and you're wrong, and there's no discussion.
Yeah.
And that is really destructive, and it's also destructive in our circles, because I also see a lot of people who are positioned as healers and teachers, and yet still that ego starts bubbling up and they kind of get off track. So when you ask me how I feel about the ego, I feel that it's one of the most important things to be aware of.
Right.
And to hopefully overcome and get into humility.
Yes, because honestly, Patricia, I think that's our only limitation right now. Like, in order for us to transcend to the next level of our beingness or truth, I think our greatest obstacle on this planet right now is overcoming our ego.
I would agree, and I would add to that the other probably as powerful force is fear.
Absolutely.
Well, the nature of ego consciousness is separation.
Right.
It's comparison. It's I'm better than you. I don't have what you have. I know more. I.
Right.
And so that is in opposition to being one with another.
Right.
And so by the nature of that, one with another is love and unconditional love at that. And then fear is that I have to be the one and only. And it's very dangerous because it's very easy to grease the ego. And if anybody wants to reach you and manipulate you, all they have to do is stroke your ego. Why is it that some people don't get enchained in the mind control mechanisms that are being used, the media propaganda. How is it that some people see right through it?
Right.
And I'd like to say that I'm one of them because it's been all my life now. I've just said no. I still don't think so.
Right.
And why do others get completely mesmerized by it and succumb to the power of persuasion, the power of mind control?
Yeah.
And I think that being in humility is one of the reasons why that can happen. When you are just honoring the other,
Right.
humble in your understanding of who you are, honoring the other, those manipulations can't work, or at least they can't work as well.
Right. So what makes the struggle, Patricia? And why is the struggle so hard? Why are we more attracted to being manipulated and imprisoned and being victim than we are to being free and independent and light in our truth?
I think that more and more people are breaking free of the drug of being mesmerized by what's being thrown at them as social behavior and the cool thing and the thing you must be, have, and do.
Right.
Again, approaching, targeted to the ego itself. More people are becoming aware of it and being able to break away. The more you tune out, the more you unplug, the freer you become. And
Yeah.
the more you get into nature where truth really lies,
Right.
the freer you become, the more aware you become. So it's a call to people now to spend less time with all the gadgets. We have got to slow down with the gadgets.
We
We've
really
got
do.
tracking systems in every single gadget. The computers are driving us crazy. We're being shown that Facebook and all of our social networks are completely controlled. And the food that is being sold is that you have to consume.
Yes. I was going to go there with you. Yeah, because that's a big passion for you, the food, the vaccine, and I'd like to add the air and the water. Because, they're attacking us on all those 4 elements that's necessary for us as a species, I believe.
And it boils down to profit for them.
Absolutely.
The more we're controllable, the more that ambiguous the richer they become. So the more enslaved we are, the more wealthy the wealthy become. Although I wonder, how much wealth do they need? How many properties do they need? How much money do they need? We look now at the technology that we're using. The mad scientists are running away with genetics.
Yeah.
They're putting insect genetics into plants.
Yeah,
Really.
It's crazy. I was reading last week that they're thinking of cloning a mammoth. I'm like, why? Because they can.
They said something like, we're going to have a mammoth in about 7 months.
Yeah, like,
because we don't have enough problems on the planet.
I know. They're so ridiculous.
So here we are, and I know that it seems to me that the human race only gets up and moving when we're pushed against the wall.
Yeah.
Up against the wall.
Yeah. Well, we're there right now, Patricia. We're up against the wall.
We are up against the wall, and I believe in humankind.
Yeah.
I believe that we are about to show our greatest hour as human beings on this planet, and the numbers of people who are becoming aware are so dramatically increasing.
Yes, it's incredible.
Great comfort, great hope, and great excitement as to what's going to unfold.
Absolutely. So that leads to the next point then. What do you think is going to happen in 2012?
2012. First of all, we do have the ending of the Mayan calendar.
Right.
And now there's a big debate as whether exactly what the date is. Was it really October 28th, 2011? Was it 12/12? Was it 21/12? And to me, that doesn't matter very much because to expect to pin down the world cycles of the universal cosmic energy to a 24-hour period is sort of linear thinking on the part of us humans.
Right.
But we do know that the Mayan calendar runs out around, let's say, in this time frame.
Okay.
We know the sun is at its solar peak
Yeah.
in this time frame. We know that we're completing a galactic cycle in this time frame.
Yeah.
And so it is a pretty huge shift that's going on, and we're already in it. It's not going to happen when the bell rings. Ding!
No, it's definitely happening. Yes, you're right.
So many people are having existential crisis
Yeah.
about what's happening on the planet and their role in it all. And it's very deep, and it's fear, and there's a lot of ego in that as
Yeah.
well. It's, what's going to happen to me? How do I fit? What happens if I can't do this or that or the other thing? And it's this is all part of it. We're shifting out of that separate mind.
Yeah.
And we're shifting into an era of universal light, universal love.
And
Love
nobody, and nobody ever said the process would be dandy and smooth. There's chaos and beauty.
That's right. I also think that we signed up for it.
Yeah. We're
I'm
like,
be there when this takes place.
yeah.
So I think we've got some pretty, I don't want to say tough cookies, but some very powerful people are on the planet now, standing up and being a lighthouse for the others.
When you look at what is normal, I don't know anybody who's contributed to normal. The people that I know make images that do not fit into that paradigm at all. And the musicians alike and the artists alike, none of them do that. So the normal mainstream sliver of 3D reality doesn't come from us, essentially. And I think a lot of people in the alternative communities and what used to be perhaps called the New Age movement are not really wanting to look too deeply into that, because it's a bit dark, a bit conspiratorial, a bit shadowy. But I wanted to touch on it really as a sort of polarity springboard to say, let us understand this, because we can move away from that culture to generate our own, and we can move away from that normality to realise that when you're in a place like this and you're talking about higher dimensional experiences, and you're talking about transcendent experiences, and you're talking about spiritual philosophy, that's considered abnormal from the construct, which is synthetic. But actually here, it's the most normal thing in the world, because this is the organic normal world. This is human beings who naturally ascend, who naturally want to discover and explore and know and share and tell their story and so on. And yet it is very much a temple and an oasis of that kind of energy here. And I know for a lot of people, not all, but for a lot of people who are visiting here this weekend, they will go home to a kind of culture duality shock.
Yes.
Where they'll move from a place of organic, normal human behaviour to a place of very artificial, very toxic, abnormal human behaviour. But because it has consensus approval and formal stamp of, officially sanctioned normality, people forget very quickly which is which is normal and which is weird.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride.
Hi, Jason Gregory, and welcome to you. We're very, very, very excited to have you here. Before we get started, I'd like you to explain, just for everyone, where did your inspiration come from?
It's a pleasure to be on too, Kathy. Thank you. Where I drew my inspiration from, it's difficult to explain. It was all a process of my own journey of trying to unravel my own existence, I suppose. Most of my work is focused on individual, so that stemmed from my own journey. So what we are doing basically here, what I believe we are doing, is we are unraveling our own puzzle, our own history about ourselves. And there is that hidden history within us that throughout the ages we've tried to explain that. We see it being trying to explain in mythology, etc. But basically I drew inspiration, I suppose, from trying to understand that place. And I was actually travelling at the time, so I was travelling in Asia a lot, and I was spending a lot of my time in India, Nepal, Thailand, and the Middle East. And those sort of places really changed my perception of reality a lot, because being born in the West and growing up in a pretty comfortable environment, I was never really a rich kid, but I grew up in a very comfortable environment. Australia is much the same as America, and much the same as Canada or the UK. But when you get dropped into somewhere like Calcutta in India, it's like having your software program deleted. And I think that's what Terence McKenna actually mentioned once. He said it's like you delete your software program. It's good to change your sort of your cultural environment, because it helps your own evolution. So when I went into that certain place, it really brought my ego forward, and through it bringing my ego forward, I knew what was always standing in my way and what needed to be destroyed. So not destroyed, but what needed to be recognized. And from there, all of those sort of lessons, like being in a place like Calcutta in India, one of the poorest, if not the poorest city on the planet, was at that time, I didn't realize, but unconsciously, I was taking a journey more within myself and understanding more about who I am. Because all that needs to really happen in that is to realize the ego. Because I know a lot of teachers try to teach to transcend the ego, and that can be seen in two different lights. When some people hear transcend the ego, they think to destroy the ego. Now, even the most enlightened sage on the planet will say that is actually the ego who wants to destroy the ego.
Right.
So it's the height of the ego's arrogance to try to even destroy itself. So by transcend, they mean just to be aware, be conscious of where you daily are acting from. Are you acting from the ego, or are you acting from your center, from your true self, from your heart energy?
How do you know the difference?
I suppose the best way to know the difference for myself
Yeah.
is to just try and remain humble, and when there's a situation comes up in your own existence, don't react straight away. Just sit there. A lot of people call this a Zen mode, but just sit there and just try to, because the chatter will obviously come, the mind will dissect whatever situation it is, the way it thinks, and from your own conditioning. But if you can just sit there and be aware of your thoughts, and just be conscious of them, they will move to the side, and your natural response should come from that. I think it was someone in Buddhism said to try and get rid of your shadow, your ego. To try and get rid of your ego is to try and detach from your actual shadow.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's an interesting analogy, because you've always got your shadow in the background, but it depends on what you are identifying with. If you're identifying with a lot of that internal noise, then your reality is going to be noisy, so to speak. So just trying to, I suppose, push that shadow to the side and trying to bring your true light forth, I guess is, one of our purposes here. So I guess when people understand that intuitively, and they see, say, the rulers of this planet, the tyrants, they don't want to identify that there is still a deep quality about themselves being reflected from those tyrants. They don't want to accept that.
Why? Is it because it's so painful?
Because it's so painful, yeah.
Okay.
Because they've been, I guess they just don't want to see that within themselves where I suppose they're not self-governing. They aren't controllers of their own physical destiny at this present moment. When people see that, they get very uncomfortable that they do not have control of their like their food sources or their energy sources or just even the banking structure, etc. Like, because we've depended on, especially the banking structure and the corporate structure, so much that if that was to be removed tomorrow, there'd be social unrest within 1 hour, I guess, where there'd be violence on the streets. And again, it's because the lack of understanding of consciousness. We're not understanding that consciousness is literally, even when you look out of your eyes, you are seeing a screen of consciousness, a screen of your own consciousness. So you're almost looking within yourself when you are looking out. You're almost, actually a Zen master once said that. I think it was Alan Watts said to the Zen master, I want to see within my mind. And the Zen master said, open your eyes.
I like that.
So we are basically seeing a screen of consciousness at the moment, and when we see that reflection, that sometimes hurts. Really delve into that, because the pain isn't bad. Once you get into that aspect of that deep, dark pain within yourself, I guarantee you what grows when you go into that depth, it's only beautiful what grows from there, because you are actually just taking steps within your own consciousness.
So the whole point is not to resist, but to persist, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not to resist. Embrace it. Embrace everything. Even the tyrants. A lot of people do identify that they are doing a lot of crazy things on the planet, but still in some way embrace who they are. Try and look into their center and go, I know where you're acting from. You're acting from who you are not, but I can still see who you are.
But why is that so hard for some of us to be that mature? Because, we all have our bad days. We know that, especially when we've gone through the transitions ourselves and we've done the work, like, we know that person's not being themselves, but how come we still judge?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? The mind always is consistently analysing what is happening externally. It's consistently analysing, and even if you were to sit with the sage, and they would even admit judgments arise. There is something there. If someone was doing something idiotic in front of them, a judgment would arise, but they're pretty in tune with consciousness that they don't react, but they still will tell you in that situation. That energy rose up where I could have went outside of myself and hurled abuse at them or internalized it. And I think it's just the identification with that judgment and trying to turn it back within yourself and internalize it. That's one of the blights of humanity at the moment, is trying to internalize that judgment, because in fact, if everything's a reflection, you are constantly judging yourself.
So how can meditation balance that insanity?
Well, meditation is beautiful because it's exactly what the ego doesn't want to do. It doesn't want to be silent. It doesn't want to sit there, close its eyes. Because when you close your eyes, you are instantly looking inside your head. You're looking inside your whole being. So, and most people who meditate will tell you that as soon as they sit down, that is when the ego becomes its strongest, because it just grabs you and all the noise starts coming very fast. Like, what are you doing? And then you start talking to yourself, basically, within your head. So basically, if you can go through a process of meditation, not constant meditation, but bring it into your life at least 2 or 3 times a week, or even more every day if you want, you will see there's a natural process happen. You will see that somehow the ego becomes tame. You tame the lion within you. You tame that lion, and it becomes very quiet, and it becomes actually a friend in the end. It becomes a useful helper.
Yeah,
because in a way, we are still individuals, and we need our ego to express our own divinity through that ego. So we don't need to destroy it, because trying to destroy it would be just the ego trying to achieve something. But meditation is just, it's beautiful, because that's why when you see Zen masters, or when you see people in India who are yogis or sadhus in India, they're just so clear, their consciousness is so clear, their eyes are so big, they've totally tamed the ego, the mind within them. So I think meditation is key for one of the keys for someone's evolution. We don't really need I know if I say this it may sound contradictory, we don't need meditation, but meditation is a beautiful tool to help you evolve.
What can we do to participate in making our planet a better home?
Finding your center, but also living from that place, understanding that center is in each and every one of us. So when you understand that self, that whatever you want to call it, that Atman, that source, that Christ, whatever it is, it's within each and every one of us. And if you understand that, truly understand that, then you'll understand that there's no need to harm each other, there's no need to do any of this. It's just to treat each other with love, respect, gratitude. Be grateful that there's people in your life. And in some way, try and get closer to the earth. Try and live your life a little bit closer to the earth. Even if you do live in New York, try and live somehow closer to the earth. And that may mean just recycling a bit more or whatever. Just live closer to that which we live on, because literally without the planet, we don't have an experience at the moment. This is our experience. We are from the earth. I don't believe we're from the stars. I believe we are born out of the earth. I know I may ruffle a few feathers there, but I believe we are the eyes and the ears of this planet. So
that's okay.
If you understand you're in the eyes and the ears of this planet, understand that you live on this earth, you're a human being, and your role here is to treat each other with love and respect, and to find that center, to realize yourself, and just love and only love. Don't fear, don't live from the ego, just live from love, and that's all, and learn to give and not expect anything back.
So Jason, I thank you for your time. I really appreciate you sharing your depth and your knowledge with our viewers, and anytime you want to come back, we'll be happy to have you there.
I'd love to be back.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Jason.
you.
Somehow, part of the package of being a living, thinking being is that you get a universe inside of you. You know, you get a galaxy-sized object inside you that you can access. And there are the mountains, the rivers, the jungles, the dynastic families, the ruins, the planets, the works of art, the poetry, the sciences, the magics of millions upon millions upon millions of worlds. And this is apparently who we each are. We're a little bit of eternity sticking into three-dimensional space, and for some reason occupying time in a monkey body. But when you turn your eyes then inward, you discover the birthright, the existential facts out of which this particular existence emerged. And it's a great secret and a great comfort, because it means, you know, mystery didn't die with the fall of Arthur or the fall of Atlantis or the fall of anything. Mystery is alive in the moment, in the here and now. It just simply lies on the other side of a barrier of courage. And it isn't even that high a barrier. It just is a barrier high enough to keep out the insincere and the misdirected. But for those who will claim it, in the midst of the historical chaos of the late 20th century, they become the archaic pioneers. They become the first people to carry the Ouroboros serpent around to its own tail and to make a closure. And to the degree that any one of us has this connection back to the archaic in our life, it makes where we have been make a lot more sense, and it makes where we're going seem a lot more inviting, which it really is, I think.